Oh, go on then, just one won't hurt, I said, pushing the slices into my mouth. I'm on holiday and I deserve it after all, in the warm, rain-free, sunny south. Let me set the scene a little bit, and this follows on from another rhyme where I slated toxic holiday behaviours, but on day 6 I succumbed to mine. I'd been really good the entire trip, avoiding unhealthy choices all week. No desserts, no dairy, no meat, soya milk coffee, and absolutely no wheat. But on this day in question I failed. When I took my daughter out for lunch, she wanted a pizza and I agreed, only there were no other options for me to munch. So she had a margarita and I had the same. We also ordered some garlic bread. She had a Sprite, and bored of water, I ended up with a cold beer instead. It turns out she wasn't that hungry, and this filled me with glee, because as she pushed her pizza away, I thought all the more for me. Now, I've not eaten pizza for ages, with the occasional sourdough exception, but this was proper wheaty stodge topped with a cow 4 cheese selection. Greedily I shovelled the food in, savouring the greasy, salty umami taste. Sure that nothing bad would happen, I've a bulletproof microbiome, I thought in haste. I followed the inhaled pizza slices with the garlic bread remains, washing it down with the beers, invulnerable to any gastric complaints. Later that day at the hotel buffet, I again thought, what the hell? If it's good enough for everyone here, then it might be fine for me as well. Beside the plant-based options were scarce, I'd had nothing but the salad displays and every type of potato dish done in about 50 different ways. I'm not blaming the hotel or the cooks, but when you don't eat meat, dairy or wheat, then unless there's some specialist provision, you're bound to face some dietary defeat. And truth be told, I was pretty fed up of watching people try everything on show. I looked on trying not to have envy, always having to turn away and say no. I didn't have the various breads and cheeses or the meaty and fishy traditional dishes, the huge array of sweets and puddings I rejected despite my deepest wishes. But on this day I let myself go. Perhaps the second beer was a mistake, and while I avoided the meat, I ate more bread and even a pistachio cake. I felt like I'd sneaked a fly win. Like when on Christmas Day your parents say, "No more chocolate," but you manage to steal some anyway. Besides, who was going to care if I ate any of this unhelpful food? Well, it seems my body was the parent, and the next day it surely would. I awoke with a sense of urgency, a gurgling, rumbling, unhappy tummy. I knew what the rest of the day held. It would be malodorous and runny. My mouth was dry from just 2 beers, with a headache, thankfully slight, but worst of all, my wife reported had kept her up as I'd snored all night. At first I complained, this isn't fair. Perhaps I was just out of practice, but that was ignoring the reality with these thoughts sent to distract us. As usual, I wasn't listening to the things my body was saying. I don't like when you abuse me. Off the path of health I was straying. I'm kind of glad this happened after all of the previous poems bragging, as it reminded me the correct course of action was just to get back on the wagon. This is the unfortunate experiential truth of how our habits have developed. We are constantly tempted and entitled, continuously, toxically enveloped. And I know, my friends, how hard it is to stay away from these. But I urge you to cultivate self-awareness and to take care of yourself. Please.